Yeah, we left off yesterday. We're actually going to start with Amar Rabbi Lazar, Amar Rabbi Dina. It's 2 lines up from the widest lines. But I didn't finish yesterday what Taisus says about Semech Gula Tefillah by Myrav. Taisus says that there's a custom to say Yiru Einenu, Baruch Hashem Le'olam Adon and the Nusach Ashkenaz, they say that in Yiru Einenu. So he has 2 points to this. First point is because it's been instituted by the sages to say that. And the reason why is because the shul was outside, and if someone would die later, he shouldn't have to walk home alone. So they instituted an extra prayer to keep everyone up to pace. So because it's been instituted, so that's considered like a gula arichta, and therefore it's part of Hashkivenu. It's a double extension on Hashkivenu. The second point he says is that we also have 18 mentions of Hashem's name in there, which correspond to the Shemona Esrei. I don't know what Taisus wants to say with that. Maybe he means that that's really a type of Shemona Esrei. But then he says that Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan, that says that you need to be Semech Gula Tefillah by Maya. That's a question. The point is, if you need to be Semech Gula Tefillah, that means you can't talk in between. You can't make an interruption in between Gal Yisrael, Ashkivenu, and Shemona Esrei. But the Seder of Amram, which is our first Seder that we have access to, he writes that we say Kaddish. He says why? That you don't need to be Semech Gula Tefillah because Tefillah service is Rishus. The whole Kaddish there is just to tell us that you don't need to be Semech Gula Tefillah. He says 1 second. We hold that Rabbi Yochanan holds that Tefillah service is chayva. No, Rabbi Yochanan holds, really Rabbi Yochanan holds that Tefillah service is rishus, and nevertheless he holds that Smichas Gula Tefillah is an obligation. So there seems to be a contradiction. So if you hold Smichas Gula Tefillah, then you shouldn't have a kaddish. If you hold it's rishus, then you do have a kaddish. So there seems to be a contradiction in Psak.
Why don't we say Hashkivenu? I thought that's
we do say Hashkivenu, and we said Hashkivenu is a gula arichta. It's a law. It's an extension of.
Oh, we don't say what's here.
Baruch Hashem Le'olam, right? Okay, so he says Nachan Lahachmer that we shouldn't be mafsik. What comes out is if you go to a Ashkenaz shul, if it's Rosh Chodesh, you'll hear them announce Yalla B'Yavai. Before Shemona Esrei. In a Chabad shul, they won't announce it the rest of the day, and the reason is because that you are allowed to make a hefsek being gula l'tefillah by night if it's important, based on the leniencies that we're seeing here. That we hold tefillah services rishus, and that you can say kaddish. So when it comes to Yalav Yavai, they'll announce Yalav Yavai to remind people. However, in Eretz Yisrael they don't, right? And according to the Alter Rebbe, it's good that you noticed that. According to the Alter Rebbe, Smichas Gula Tefillah by Myrav is the same as by Shachris. We don't announce it. That's why we also say we don't say Baruch Hashem Le'olam, we don't say Shamru and all of that. It all has to do with this discussion. But the Daf Yomi is not a halacha sharing.
Until we bring the books.
Okay. Amar Rabbi Lazar, Amar Rabbi Venus, 2 lines from the wide lines, 2 lines up from the wide lines. Kol ha'imar Tila David, v'chol yom shalish pamim. Anyone that says Tila David 3 times a day, that's a name for Ashrei. We call it Ashrei. Gemara calls it Tila David. We'll see in a moment that Gemara calls it Ashrei also. But so 3 times a day, Muftach leishu ben olam haba, he's guaranteed to be a ben olam haba. It's very surprising because that's an easy entrance. You just say this 3 times, and what else is he doing? The commentaries explain. Oh yeah, we said that also.
Did we say yesterday? No, I don't think so.
No, 1 second.
It wasn't on the YouTube.
It could be we said something like that. So, the explanation is given that if someone does this 3 times a day, he'll be in a mindset that everything else that he does will lead him to Eilam Haba. My timer. What's
Well,
the
you
reason
can
for this?
imagine if he starts with that film.
My timer. What? Why? What's the big deal about?
Watch the YouTube video again. There.
What's the big deal about Tila David, about Ashrei? I mean, like, there's a lot of prayers that we say. It says Eily Misham Dasi Ba'alef Bais. Is it because if you look at the Ashrei, every pasuk begins with another letter of the Aleph Bais. Now that means that it's a very significant prayer. What is the significance of it? So there's different explanations, but one of them is that it's associated with the letters of the Torah, so it includes the concept of Torah. Another one is that we're praising Hashem with every possible sound. Each one of the letters, so it's like a full prayer. It has all of Aleph Bais. So if that's the case, name Ashri Shmi Meiderech, that's a bit of Mayapin. Why don't you say Kufya Test? This is called Ashri Shmi Meiderech is how chapter 119 starts. It's called Tamnaya Apin. It's 8 times because each letter of the Aleph Bais is repeated 8 times. They said if you have a hot tea and you want it to cool down, so segula to get your tea a little colder is to say Kapitel Kufya Test.
So this coming year, we'll have to switch from coffee
right.
to tea.
Yeah. It's interesting. The Alter Rebbe writes that we should say it once a week. Tanya.
That's 2 days.
Ella mishum de ispei peseach hasidecha. No, it's not because of the Aleph Bais. Because for Aleph Bais, you would have said other things. What's the chiddush? What's so special about Tila David Ashrei? It says in the Peseach Hasidecha, shows on faith in Hashem that Hashem provides sustenance to any living thing. But if that's the case, name a Halal Gadol. Why don't we say Halal Gadol? Halal Gadol is Kili Elam Chaste. Kili Elam Chaste, those 26 verses of Kili Elam Chaste. That's referring to the 26 generations that Hashem kept the world in existence without Torah. It was only because of Hashem's chesed. 26 generations before the Torah was given. And over there it says that Hashem gives bread to all flesh. So that's something, and that's just as good. Elamishum just betarti. It's a combination of both. It's the Aleph Bais and the Pesach Sedecha. That's what makes Tila David so special. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Commentaries here discuss that we're talking about smichas kol l'tefillah, but we don't have any smichas kol l'tefillah by mincha. We have no Gal Yisrael before mincha, and the Gemara here throws in that there's an ashrei which takes place of that. So Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, "Nemer nun ba'ashrei." How come there's no nun in ashrei? You look through the letters; it's missing the letter nun.
You say after some.
Right. So it says, we'll see. It goes from Mem to Sama, Malchusva, and then Semech Hashem. So Mipnei Sheish B'Mapalasim Shel Sen Yisrael, because it has the downfall of the enemies of Israel. That's a term that it uses when it doesn't want to talk about the Jewish people. It says enemies. It's like a euphemistic way of saying the Jewish people. It talks about the downfall. The Ksiv, as it says in the pasuk, Nafla Leisaisif Kum, shall fall and not continue to get up. Basulas Yisrael, the Jewish people. So we don't want to mention that, even though this is much later. This is a pasuk in Amos. This is David HaMelech before, but it must have been that the prophecies were already known.
You probably could find a pasuk with any letters.
Yeah. Why specifically you have to choose this pasuk? Could have chosen nice and Menachem l'chol basar. Just had a pasuk, right? Okay, b'ma'arav metartzi lahafi. In the west, which is in Eretz Yisrael, they answer it like this. What does it mean answering? Okay, nafla, she falls. Leisaisif limpalai. She won't continue to fall anymore. Kum b'sulas Yisrael. Get up, b'sulas Yisrael. And that is a way of reading this pasuk in a positive light. According to Marava, why is there no nun in Ashrei? I don't know.
Oh, this is the one after is Soymech.
Oh, so that we're going to say in a moment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still not good enough. Maybe Kum Basulis Yisrael is not good enough. It's only saying Basulis Yisrael gets out. Maybe it's not referring to everyone. I don't know. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, afilu hachi chazad David Samchem Baracha Kodesh. Nevertheless, David HaMelech put right next to that missing pasuk, he put in there in the Ruach HaKodesh, Shenemar, as it says, Semech Hashem l'chol ha'noiflim. Hashem supports the fallen. Okay, so even though it's not in there, but we still have the solution in there that Hashem supports the fallen. Okay. Amar Rabbi Lazar bar Ravina. Rabbi Lazar bar Ravina says, now we're quoting Rabbi Lazar bar Ravina because we just mentioned him before. Sometimes the Gemara does this, that it brings in just because of the name. We said one statement, we'll bring in another statement from it. Gadol Mashenemar b'Michal, Yosef Mashenemar b'Gabriel. It's more, it says more something greater about Michal than it says about Gabriel. These are two angels. By Michal, the angel Michal, it says, and it flew to me, one of the Srafim, the fiery angels. And the man Gabriel that I saw in the vision first, Muaf B'yaf. That means it's lifted in flight. It has a double expression there. My mash. Okay, so we see that Michal can fly in one go, and Gabriel takes two goes, two flights to get there. There's a layover.
Stop him. Yeah.
So, my mashma the hayachin Michal. How do you know? It didn't say who it was when it says Vayar Hayachin min Asrafim. How do you know that Echad is Michal? Rabbi Yochanan Nasi Echad. We have a Gezer Shabbat. It says Echad in one place. It says Echad here. So. Ksiv hachavayoi falayachad min asrafim. Ksiv hasaman over there it says Vini Michal achad min asarim or Yisayim bala azreini. That Michal, one of the first ministers, comes to support me. So it says the word echad there as well. So we see that when it says echad, it's referring to Michal. Tana was taught Michal ba'achas. Michal flies in one go. Gabriel b'shtayim. Gabriel takes two flights. Elio ba'arba. Elio takes four. Malach Bishmaina, the Malach Mavas takes 8. B'shas Magefa Bachas, but he can fly in one go in a time of plague. He can fly in one go. I didn't get a chance to look up, but apparently the Marsha explains
Malach Mavas?
the Elio. Well, the Malach Mavas, I don't know why specifically 8, but I know it's to slow him down.
Slow him down, yeah.
But why specifically 8? And what does Elio have to do with our Arba? What is that? Why 4?
He stops at all the pressures.
You never know. It could be associated with that. Yeah, usually we stop 7 times.
With 7 stops, the 8 is the final.
Maybe they said the Mishalachim have a story with this guy that asked someone for money. And he said, I'm busy learning, I'm busy davening, I can't give you. So they said, look, it says twice in the Torah, it says the man, Vayish. Here we had Gabriel, it says Vayish Gabriel. But in the Chumash it has twice. One, it says Vayish. One is by the Sarah Esav, it says Vayavikish, right? And he wrestled with Yaakov. The other one is that he found the man in the field, and he said the brothers went to Tyson, and Rashi says over there that it's Gabriel. So how does he know one is Gabriel and one is the Sar Shalesa? They said because the Sar Shalesa, when Yaakov asks him for a bracha, he says, I'm busy, I have to go daven. So he says that's clear that wasn't Gabriel. Okay, I'm Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Now we're back to Kriya Shema. Afal pi shekara adam Kriya Shema v'beis hakneses. We quoted this Gemara in the first Taisvus. Even though a person had recited Shema already in Shul, mitzvah l'kreis al mitasi, you have to say it on the bed. This is Kriya Shema Shalamita. It's a statement of Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Amar Rabbi Yosi Maikra. Rabbi Yosi says, it be either Rabbi Asi or Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi is a Tana. Shubin Levi is an Amira. It's either Rabasi or Rabbi Yossi. Micro, what's the pasuk that proves this? It says Rigzu Val Techto. Like get angry. Rigzu is what does it say in English? Tremble. Val Techto and don't sin. Imru Bevavchem Al Mishkavchem. Say in your heart. It means like meditate on your bed. And then be silent, which means go to sleep. That means that you have to say Shema. Imru Bevavchem Al Mishkavchem is you say the Shema on your bed and then you go to sleep. Amar of Nachman. Nachman says, if he is a Talmud Chacham that he's always learning, then he doesn't need to say that. He doesn't need to say the Shema. Amar Rabbi, Talmud Chacham you should still say one verse of compassion. In your hand I deposit my spirit. You redeem me, Hashem, the God of truth. So that's what we quoted before, where Tosfos says that how could you be Yitzah? Yes, on Rashi, how could you be Yitzah Krishma with Krishma Shalamita? The Talmud Chacham doesn't need to say it. Okay. Amar Rab Levi Bar Chama, Amar Rab Shimon ben Lakish. Rab Levi Bar Chama says the name of Rab Shimon ben Lakish. And why are we quoting this now? Because we're going to quote the same pasuk. It says, Li'olam, always. Yargaz Adam Yitzah Tov al Yitzah Hara. A person should get his Yitzah Tov angry. That is Yitzah Hara. I don't know if you remember this from Tanya. Or is it Lamed Aleph or something? Shenema Rigzu Val Techto. Get angry and don't sin. Now, what's the Loilam? Loilam could be that it's referring to even if there's no Aveira there, but it's just Tavis Heter, Skafia. You should always make a fight between the Yitzah Tov and the Yitzah Hara. Im Natzcho Mutter. If he overcomes it with that, then great. But if not, then Yasik Patera. The Yitzhar Hara is strong, then he should come to the Daf. You say in your heart, Im Natzchu, that means to meditate. If that works, then Mutav, then good. Vimlav Yikr Kriya Shema, then you have to recite the Shema. Shenemar al Mishkavchem, says on your bed, that's referring to Shema, which is B'shach B'cha Kumecha. Im Natzchu, if that works, Mutav, Vimlav Yaskala Yema Misa. Then you have to remind him of the day of death. Shenemar V'day Musela, as it says. Now before we translated V'day Musela, as he goes to sleep after he recites Shema. Here V'day Musela means he'll be silent. It means the day of death.
That doesn't mean silent at all. That means forever.
Yeah, it sounds forever.
Netzach means meditate.
No, Mishka. It's Imru Bilvavchem. Say in your heart. Means to think.
The last two were really connected because we say sleep is the 60th of death. So when he goes to sleep, he meditates. I mean, you could connect it to
There was a chief rabbi in Tel Aviv, Moshe Avigdor Amiel. So he writes these very interesting essays. One of his essays he wrote was trying to compare Hasidus and Musar and Lamdas. He was a Lamdan. So what he says over here is that, of course, this Gemara. He says Hasidus says Yikr Kriya Shema, the Avas Hashem. That's the Musar says Yaskala Yema Misa, that you remember the death and how long you're going to live. And he says, but really, what's the first thing is Yasik Patera is just Lamdas, and that's his his twist. Okay. Amar Rab Levi Bar Chama, Amar Rab Shimon ben Lakish. We have the same combination here of Amirayim. Rab Levi Bar Chama says the name of Rab Shimon ben Lakish. My Diksiv, what's the meaning of the pasuk? Hashem tells Moshe, come up the mountain, Bet Luchas Evan Vater Ramitzvah Shekasafti Laresim. I will give you the tablets of stone, the Torah, the mitzvahs that I wrote to guide, to show you. Luchais, it goes through Luchais. What is that referring to when it says the Luchais Elo Aser Sadibris? It's 10 Commandments. Torah, when it says that the word Torah is a mikra, that's referring to the Chumash. Mitzvah, when it says mitzvah zu Mishnah, this is referring to the Mishnayos. Asher Kasafti, that I wrote, Elo Nevi'im Ksuvim, that's the rest of Tanakh. It's a raya. See, Torah is only, there's a machlekes in Kedushin. Torah is a mikra. what Mikra is referring to? Is Mikra referring to Chumash or to Tanakh? It's Machlekes Rishonim. Rashi says I think it's the Chumash, but over here it's a raya that Torah Zu Mikra means that it's only the Chumash, because it goes on, it says Nevi'im Ksuvim is something else. L'Hiraisam to Paskin Ze Gemara. This is the Gemara, because when you understand the reasons, that's how you're able to Paskin, not just the bottom line. You have to know all the logic to be able to say when things apply. Malame, this teaches us that everything was given to Moshe. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak says, anyone that recites the Shema in his bed, if he's holding a sword, a double-edged sword, the praises of Hashem are in their throat, and the double-edged sword in their hand. Pifias is like a double side, two sides to it. It means it's just like a dagger, like sharp on both sides. Not a knife that you cut from one side, it has sharp on both sides. My mashma. How do we know that this is referring to Kriya Shema? It says he's holding a sword and he has the praises of Hashem. You look back one pasuk. The Hasidim will rejoice in honor. They will sing on their beds. And then it says that they'll hold the sword. We're going to see what it does. What does the sword do? So anyone that recites the Shema on his bed, so the demons run away from it. They go away. Shneimar, as it says, B'nei Refesh Yagbiu Oif. B'nei Refesh, literally means the sparks. Will be lifted up by Oif. Do they translate Oif? Flight. The Einoif el Torah. Einoif is Torah. We had before, but yeah, we had. Oif is Torah. Shneimar Hisif Einecha Boi ve'Einenu. You glance at it and it disappears. That's really, the pasuk is referring to riches, but it's also referring to, over here it's referring to Torah. Ve'in Reshef, what is Reshef? So the Torah is removing, the Oif is going to remove the Reshef. What's Reshef? That's Ein Reshef Ela Mazikin. Reshef is referring to the demons. Shneimar, Mirzei Rav, waste away in hunger. L'chumei Reshef, and with the heat of fever, the Reshef is it means afflictions, but here we're translating it as demons. The Ketef will be cut off. Meriri is another type of demon that comes in the evening. Amar Rab Shimon ben Lakish, Kalaisik B'Torah. Anyone that's involved in Torah, that toils in Torah, Yisurim B'Delim Mimenu. Afflictions will go away from him. Shneimar B'nei Reshef Yagbiu Oif. That Reshef will be lifted away by Oif. Ve'Einoif el Torah. So the Torah takes away any sort of afflictions. Shneimar Hisif Einecha Boi ve'Einenu. How do we know Torah is Oif? Because it says you look at it and it disappears. I think it's referring to, like, if you don't chazer, then you forget what you learned. So that's a type of, it's like riches that if you don't take care of it, you have to always check the statements. Otherwise, it could disappear. Yeah. So, Ve'ein Reshef El Yisurim. And Reshef, before we said Reshef, means sparks or demons. Here it means afflictions. Shneimar Mizei Rav, waste away in famine. L'chumei Reshef, and devouring heat, fever of Reshef. So Reshef over here would mean Yisurim. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says too, this is Rish Lakish that's saying this. You know, they're brothers-in-law and they're in the yeshiva and they would argue a lot. There's ha'afilu to make shol b'srav and yadim. I say that, everyone knows that. You quoted a pasuk from Eily. You made it like very complicated, but the truth is that it's already in the Chumash, and even children in the gan, in the cheder, they know that. Shneimar v'yamer, it says, Hashem says, if you listen to the voice of Hashem your God, and you do what's correct in His eyes, you listen to the mitzvahs and you observe all the illnesses that I placed in Mitzrayim, I will not place on you, because I am Hashem, your doctor. Ella, So you see that if you follow the Torah, you won't have the afflictions. Rather, anyone that could toil in Torah, it's the opposite. He doesn't learn Torah. Then maybe he'll love Yisurim. Then he gets afflictions.
So can give you a
Oh no.
Okay.
So hit them over full of hamaka, right? We to avoid the reshef, like we say kara satan, right? Kara the Rashi tables that come before reshef.
Which is
Kara kuf reishayin is right before shin.
Ration.
Shin.
Oh, interesting.
No?
Interesting.
Shofar.
I have no proof
No.
for that.
Kuf
Just made
reish.
it up.
Wow.
It just happened.
Cross shofar.
He's right.
Why don't you empty your drawing?
You're right. That's very interesting. No,
But I don't know. But I have no makor.
No, but he's saying that the Kuf and Reish come before the Kuf and Reish is come before the Reish and the Shin, and then the Ayin comes before the Pei. It's interesting. The Reshef. You look at those letters. Each one is the letter preceding.
And on Rosh Hashanah, Kra,
Right. So maybe Hakadosh Baruch Hu maybe Yisurim mechuarim va'oichanai, like bad Yisurim, and that stirs him up or destroys. Yeah. Right. Here we're talking about Yisurim, probably like of the body. That's why we quoted the one about the diseases.
That's why it came in.
Right, line.
So Nemar Nalamti Dumiya, silent, quiet in silence. Echshesi mitay, quiet of good. Ukeivi nekar, and my pains are strong. So Echshesi mitay, I was quiet from good. And then comes Ukeivi nekar. Ve'in tayv ala Torah. Tayv is referring to Torah. What is good? Torah. Shnemer ki lekach tayv. Nasati lachem, because a good purchase I give to you. Terasi al tazayvo. That's my Torah. Do not forsake it. So we see that if someone is quiet from Torah, then the Yisurim come.
And if you went to the Daf, to the Siyum, and you were singing the songs,
I was thinking about that. What is it? How does it go? Learn and Torah. How does it start? Is it good to say? No. No, the best part is Barfa Ver Yede Yach learning Torah nach and nach. Amar Reb Zera. Reb Zera says V'temer Reb Chanina Bar Papa. And some say that it's Reb Chanina Bar Papa. They must have been around the same generation. That's why would we make that mistake?
We're both at the end.
Who are we thinking that this is? It's either Rabbi. No, it's either Reb Zera or Nina Bar Papa. I'm not really that close. Zera is together with Rabbi. Nina Bar Papa is the son of Bar Papa. It's interesting. Usually we have the Itamas are usually a teacher-student. That's usually the Itamas.
It's later, and so then both of them were just older.
Right. We have different kirsais here. There's a whole bunch of different kirsais here. Okay. Boyeresh, like Midas HaKadosh Baruch Hu Midas Basavadam. Come and see that the way of Hashem is not the way of a human being. Midas Basavadam, the way of a human being is a person sells an object to his friend. The seller is sad, and the buyer is happy. Look at what I bought. I got something good. Why is the seller sad? Because he sold it because he needed the money. Else he would have kept it in his collection. But it's referring to someone that sold because he needed the money. An item. We're not talking about the. That could be. Aval HaKadosh Baruch Hu ain't a king. But by Hashem it's different. Nice and them Torah Yisrael. He gives the Torah to the Jewish people. V'samach, and he's happy. Shneimar, he says, Ki lekach tov nasati lechem. He's still praising. It's a good purchase. I gave to you, Terasi, my Torah, al tazev, don't forsake it. Amar Rav v'tim Rav Chisda. Rav says, some say Rav Chisda says, Chisda is his father-in-law. Imraya Adam Shisurim Barim Alav. If a person sees that afflictions are coming on him, Yipashvish b'maisa, he should examine his actions. Shenemar, as it says, Nachbisa deracheno v'nachkaira. Search your ways and examine it. V'nashuva ad Hashem, and return to Hashem. If a person sees something is going wrong, some sort of yisurim, he has to examine what he's doing. Pishvish v'lei matzah. If he searches but he doesn't find, I'm doing everything right. Yitla b'bittul Torah. Then he should make it dependent. He should say that it's because he was neglect of Torah study, which is something common, and that's probably what it is. Then, as it says, praised is the man that Hashem afflicts him, and he studies from the Torah. That means that he's afflicted, and he sees that it was because of bittul Torah, and he studies Torah. He understands that means that he's supposed to learn.
This goes against the lo yagat lo yagat. Because right away he jumps to, must be bittul Torah, go learn. Don't tell him to go check any other places or go back and check the other place.
Oh, you mean he should look harder?
Yeah.
Oh, so the commentaries here say, how is it that he was pishpish v'lei matzah? How does he think that he didn't find anything wrong? The reason is because if he doesn't study Torah, he doesn't even know what to look for. So,
I like that.
So, why didn't he find? He must be not studying. He thinks everything's okay. He doesn't know. He doesn't know his way around. So, v'imtala v'lei matzah. But if he says, okay, it's bittul Torah, but he doesn't have bittul Torah, then be Yidua Yisurim Shalava. There's such a concept that we'll talk about here of Yisurim Shalava. That Hashem is trying to refine him, even though he doesn't have any averis. Right. Shenemar ki eseshayav Hashem yechiach. One that he loves, Hashem rebukes. And that's referring to Yisurim Shalava. Amar Rava, Amar Rav Schaira, Amar Rav Huna. Rava says, name of Rav Schaira, name of Rav Huna. Kol shakadosh baruch hu chafetz by anyone that Hashem desires, medakid yisurim. He afflicts him with pain, afflictions. Shenemar Hashem chafetz dekay hachayli. One that he desires, he causes him illness. Maybe even if the person rejects them, he says, I don't want them, still considered the Yisurim Shalava. Talmud Laimar, the pasuk says, "In Tashim Asham Nafshay," the guilt of his soul. Ma Asham Ladas, just like when a person brings a sacrifice, he can only bring it that he knows that he knows what he's doing, and he's bringing it intentionally. Yisurim Ladas, also the afflictions have to be accepted with intention. That means to receive them with love. Then Kiblem Maschari, he does accept them. What's his reward? Gira Zera Yarach Yamin. We'll see descendants and long life. Not only that, he'll even have his learning will even stay with him. The one that Hashem desires in his hand will be successful. Okay. Now, there's a machlekes between Rabbi Yaakov Baridi and Rabacha Bar Chanina. What are Yisurim Shalava? That means afflictions of love. Chadam, or one says, Eily Yisurim Shalava, that the following are Yisurim Shalava Kol Shem Ben Bittul Torah. If it doesn't have Bittul Torah, there's two ways of learning this. One way of learning this means that it didn't come from Bittul Torah. It means he's doing everything correct. The other way of learning it is that it doesn't disturb him from learning. If he's still able to learn, I think that's the question. If he's still able to learn, even though he has pain, so that's Yisurim Shalava. And if it's stopping him from learning, so then it can't be that God is giving him this out of love. Praised is the man that Hashem afflicts him, and he studies Torah. The Chadam, one says, Elohim Yisurim Shalava, that the following are afflictions of love. Kol shein ben bittul tefillah. Anything that doesn't stop him from davening. Shenemar, as it says, Baruch Elikim asher leheser tefillah b'chastamiti. Blessed is God that did not remove my tefillah and His kindness from me. So, if it allows him to daven, that he can concentrate, so then it must be a Surim Shalom. It says in Svarim that the way that Hashem brings a judgment on a person is He causes him that he's not able to daven. Because otherwise there'll be no judgment. A person can always daven and get rid of it. Because Hashem listens to the tefillas. He wants that. If Hashem is going to make a judgment, so He puts him in a position where he can't even concentrate on his davening. That's part of the affliction.
Wow.
So
Now that it's no which one's a classic one.
Yeah, so it says Chad Amar. They didn't want to tell us that Lashon Hara. But it says Chad Amar. I have a way of translating it, by the way, also. The Chassid says that the Litvak says Tefillah. And now it's the Chassid says Torah. So davening is always going to be able to daven, but it's not going to learn.
Chassid was looking to daven.
No, but
After that, this whole thing was, what was this whole thing when he came to the fore? And then Kenach,
right.
Let me go to that. Let me go to that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
in
Yeah.
any case, you tell us what is sure we get Ava and not doing the right thing. How do we know?
How do we know?
Yeah, it seems like we're going to get the serve anyways. If He loves us, He gives us a serve. If we do the right thing, it's a servant. I mean, that's what it says.
That's interesting. Maybe that's the point. That life is always going to be life. Question is, what's the way you take it? Is it Yisurim Shalapa, or is it atonement or something? Punishment.
When you get tough love, it's for your benefit. So when you come out
That's
the other end,
probably
you're
the
stronger.
point. It's probably the point that he's saying. Amar Rabbi Breder Rav Chia bar Abba, Hachi Amar Rav Chia bar Abba, Amar Rav Yochanan. They corrected on the side. Rav Abba, the son of Rav Chia bar Abba, says, they take out Amar Rav Chia bar Abba, they say, Abba Amar Rav Yochanan. My father said in the name of Rav Yochanan, which is Rav Chia bar Abba. Eily Yisurim Shalav. Both of them are Yisurim Shalav. What does it mean, Eily? Both, if he's able to daven and he's able to learn, that means he has to be able to do both. So that who Hashem loves rebukes. So what does the pasuk say? What does the pasuk say? It says, "Praised is the man that is Hashem afflicts him, and he studies Torah." Al tikri silamdenu ela silamdenu. This is very interesting. Don't say and he learns Torah. Ela silamdenu.
You teach us.
Is that he teaches us. Silamdenu.
Teach him.
What is the tough in the nun vav at the end? What could that mean? Salamdenu could be two possible.
He taught us this matter. Namely, the fortunate is the man who God afflicts from the Torah.
Okay, how does it read the first way? Salamdenu.
You teach him.
We teach him. Salamdenu is without the da. It means him. Without the da, it means him. Without the dagish, it means him.
You know how to read. With the dagish, you know how to read.
With the dagish, it means him. It means him. Without the da, it means us. Without the dagish, it means us. So, Salamdenu, very good. Very good. Rabbi Regalski, you teach this? Okay. So, Salamdenu means, if there's no dot in the nun, then that nun vav means us. But if there is a dagish in the nun, a dagish doesn't have a sound, it's just an emphasis. A dagish in the nun, then it means him. So Salamdenu means that he studies Torah. And Silamdeno means we learn from this. We learn from the Torah this concept. This concept that the Yisurim could be Yisurim Shalava, that we learn from this we learn from the Torah. How do we learn it? It's a Kal V'Chaymer Mishen Ba'ayin. It's a Kal V'Chaymer. A non-Jewish slave, an Eved Kanani, if the master hits him and he loses a tooth or an eye, so he goes free. Mashin Va'ayin Shemechan Mevar Shalom, just like a tooth or an eye, just one limb of a person. Eved Yotzbem Lecheres, the slave goes free. Yisurim Shememarkim Kol Gufa Shaladam, afflictions or pains that cleanse the entire body. Alachas Kama V'Kama, for sure you should go free. It's a Kal V'Chaymer from Shein Va'ayin. They ask what it's a Kal V'Chaymer from Eved Kanani. We're talking about Eved Ivri. So yeah, but Eved Ivri doesn't go out. So I think the Beni Yada says that he goes out from being an Eved Kanani. He used to be part of under the Yetzer Hara, and the Yisurim come along and take him out from being an Eved Kanani. They bring him to an Eved Ivri to be the Eved of the Eibishter. So V'hainu de Reb Shimon ben Lakish, and this is what Reb Shimon ben Lakish says. Reb Shimon ben Lakish nemer bris b'melach, nemer bris b'Yisurim. It says bris, the word covenant, regarding the salt that's put on the sacrifices, and also says covenant, a pact by afflictions. Nemer bris b'melach. It says by the salt. L'ksiv leisash bris melach. You shall not leisash melach bris. You shall not discontinue. Okay. You should make sure that there's always salt on the sacrifices. V'nemar bris b'Yisurim, and it also says the word bris when it comes to afflictions. L'ksiv, it says Eily divrei bris. These are the words of the covenant. Ma bris amr b'melach, just like the bris. The covenant that it says by the salt, melach mamtekes esabasar, the salt softens or sweetens the meat. After some b'Yisurim, also the bris that says by afflictions, Yisurim lemarkin kol avenes shaladam. They cleanse a person from his sins. Tanya was taught in a Bais. Shimon ben Yochai Yomer. Shimon ben Yochai says. There's three good gifts that Hashem gave to the Jewish people. And all of them were only given through Yisurim. Elohim. These are them. Torah, Eretz Yisrael, V'olam haba.
It's famous. All you have to do is say Shema. You know, we just had it.
So Eretz Yisrael, the Knesset Yisrael, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they want to learn over here that really, in order to get all three, that only comes with Yisurim. That's what the Ben Ish Chai says. And he says that Olam Haba doesn't mean the world to come in the future. Olam Haba means that to have Olam Haba while you're in this world, to have the pleasure of Olam Haba while you're in this world. So to be able to study Torah and to be in Eretz Yisrael and to live the life of Olam Haba, so that only comes through Yisurim. That's right. Which beach in Eretz Yisrael? Torah, where do you see the Torah comes from? Yisurim. Shneimar, Minayin. Where do you see the Shneimar? Asher gever sheti yasena kam mitras v'salam den. Praises the man that is afflicted by Hashem, and he studies Torah. Eretz Yisrael d'ksivki kasher yasir says Kunai Hashem l'techem yasraka. As a father rebukes his son, so Hashem rebukes you or gives you affliction. Ksiv basrei, and after it says Ki Hashem l'techem heviach al eretz teva, that Hashem will bring you into the good land. Olam haba d'ksiv kiner mitzvah v'Torah or v'derech t'chachas musa. Says the light, the mitzvah, the candle of the mitzvah, the light of the Torah, and the way of life is rebuke. Tana kamei Rabbi Yochanan. A Tana taught in front of Rabbi Yochanan. Anyone that toils in Torah and does acts of kindness, v'kaiver es banav, and he buries his sons. The abnormal that it should be that a child should pass away during the parent's lifetime. So Michael and I'll call of a said he's forgiven for all his sins. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan.
All three.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Is that explain there? Amalei Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says to the Tana, Bishlai Materi Gemilas Chasadim. No, that doesn't mean anyone that's Isaac in Torah or Gemilas Chasadim or Kaiver Spanav is my friend.
It was bad. No.
Yeah, but what Yitzi's asking is, do you need to have all three to have my friend or maybe one of them should be good?
You don't want to be like, oh, I got two if I only compare it to son.
Right. So Bishlaima Torah Gemilas Chasadim. We understand Torah Gemilas Chasadim d'ksiv b'chesed b'emes yichu paravai. It says with kindness and truth, sin is forgiven. Chesed zu Gemilas Chasadim, that's an easy one. Shenamar, Reidif tzedakah v'chesed, yimtza chayim tzedakah v'kavod. He pursues charity and kindness, will find life, tzedakah and honor. That's referring to that he's forgiven. MS is Torah, and MS is Torah. Shenamar MS k'nei v'al timkar. Buy Torah, buy truth, and don't sell. Fun of Minayan, where you're getting this from, that if someone buries his son, that he's going to be forgiven. Tanalei Husaba Yishum Reb Shimon bar Yochai. So this elder tells Rabbi Yochanan in the name of Reb Shimon bar Yochai. We said a Husaba. Daniel told me before that it's Eliyahu Navi. We looked it up once. We looked it up.
Daniel.
This in Chulin. Oh, did we have it back in Chulin? I don't remember it from Chulin. We had it after Chulin, I think.
We learned it the list.
We learned it in, that could be somewhere in between there. He says, Mishum Rishim Ben Yechai Asya Avin Avain. There's a Gzeir Shabbat. Ksiv Hacha, over here it says, the Chesed Remes Yichu Paravain, that sin is forgiven. Ksiv Hasim, and over there it says, Mishalam Avain Avai Selchik B'neiim, that he pays the sin of the fathers into the lap of the sons if they continue in the same sins as the father. So, but we see the word avain together with the sons. So this is a way of understanding how the chesed v'emes yichu paravain, that it's a forgiveness. Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, Negoyim ubanim enim yisrim shalava. He says leprosy, it's haras, and burying sons, that's what we think is the shot right now. That can't be afflictions of love. Negoyim loy, leprosy is not affliction of love. Tanya says in the Bais, anyone that has one of these four signs of leprosy, it's a mizbeach of atonement. So the Gemara says mizbeach kapara havik. Yes, it's mizbeach kapara. Yisurim shalava loy havi. But it's not Yisurim Shalava. It's an atonement, but it's not Yisurim Shalava. I'm sorry, I didn't realize the time. Be by saying, if you want, say, Halan v'halahu, there's a difference between Bavel and Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, he has to leave the camp. In Bavel, what does he do if he has Taras? He stays over there, he doesn't have to leave the camp. Taisus is bothered by that. And there's other pshat in here. Some want to learn, the Marsha wants to learn, that it depends if it's his own Averis or other the Averis of the generation. In Bavel, it could be that if no one knows about it, so it's under his clothing, so it's considered Yisurim Shalava. Yeah, but if everyone sees it, then it's that's not considered Yisurim Shalava. Bonim life, losing children is not Yisurim Shalava. If he has sons and they die, Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Yochanan had sons that he lost. And he kept the bone of his youngest son around him in the necklace. And he would go console people. He'd say, this is the son, I lost my 10 sons. And he would wear this. It was less than a size to bring tumah.
He was telling people, he would have console them by saying
I have worse.
Yeah.
I guess. There's a difference. He doesn't have it all. That's even worse, and that's not considered Yisurim Shalava. But if he has sons, as long as he had them, so that could be Yisurim Shalava. Right. It was less than a share. Okay. Have a good day.